What is up, everyone, and welcome to episode 31? Question mark? I've got to clear that up. I don't know if it's 30 or 31 because Rain had it as 30, but then Randy had last week as 30. We've got to count these up. We got to get that straight. But anyways, welcome to this episode of Omi is My Homie. We got a lot to talk about, guys, and I'm excited to be here at the beginning of the show. Man, work has been crazy. Life has been a little bit crazy. We got lots to talk about. There's a lot that went on. And it's kind of nuts because Veve wasn't even at DCon, right? But they were digitally. And the fam definitely represented there. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the Evolvables drop that's fully announced with the Punisher. And, get everyone's thoughts on what they're going to do. Is it worth it with the MCP points? Because it's going to be a lot of MCP points to do that. We want to talk about the Nounish drop. We got to talk about our special guest and his massive purchases of one of the comics here, the Veveverse NDAs lifted, and so much more. So without further ado, I want to introduce my co-host, one of them, because Crypto Rain, unfortunately, is not going to make it. He's feeling a little bit under the weather, but we do have the real Randy Chavez live from
Colombia,
hombre, not Medellin, right? Right?
No. I was in Medellin for like a day and a half.
Yeah.
I got in at like 10:30 at night, expecting to go to just go to the hotel and go to bed.
Yeah.
But because I was on like 3 hours sleep from Vegas, I came straight from DCon. But then we went to a club, and then we went to another club, and I didn't get to bed until like 7 a.m. and I was going to throw. That was ridiculous. And now we're in Cartagena.
Cartagena. Oh man, dude.
See.
I'd love to go to Colombia. I'd love to visit Colombia. I want to go. Like, I had never been. Dude, I've traveled all over the world. Never been to freaking South America. Never been. Yeah,
well, it's amazing. The tacos are great. The people are so cool. They're so chill. They're like so happy. Everything's so cheap. I had tacos, beer, a cheeseburger, and ice cream, and it was like $15, $20.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like, it's wild when you go to some other countries, not all countries, but some of these other countries, and you see what stuff costs, and you're like, why does it cost so much in the States? Like, so much more, right? But hey, look, before we get too deep into this, right, we have a special guest that we're bringing on the show. He's been here before, and without further ado, let's bring on Crypto Cosmo. What's up, brother?
What's up, Doc? What's up, Randy?
Yeah.
Randy, you were kind of frozen for just a second on this post. It was pretty funny. It was epic. Man, guys, look, and hey, we got a shout out here. Bobby Green, thank you so much. He says, I love watching you, Dr. Stuff. Your excitement for Omi is so contagious. It feels like geeking out with a super fun friend. Appreciate that, Bobby. Look, one of these days, man, we're going to meet in real life. Like, I definitely want to meet you. We've definitely had some awesome little conversations. I think that you're probably one of the only ones who feel like my excitement for Omi is contagious right now. And to go along with that, right, we've got Wes's awesome comment here. Omi hasn't been a homie. So we'll talk about that. And normally we have Crypto Rain kind of dive into things, but we'll pop it up, right, and we'll talk about where it's at, what it's doing, and what the market is doing, because as Big A points out here, Bitcoin hits 95K. Bitcoin continues to hit all-time high after new all-time high after new all-time high, which is pretty nuts here. But shouting out some more of the fan, we got Veve Ben. Look, Bill, you're slacking, man. Ben got the first like, so you got to get on that. We got Slider. What's up, Slider? Bill Gardner's trying to pretend like he got the first like by stating he got the first like. It's not how it works, fam. But he did do DApps. So, actually, DApps do kind of lift that up. He might have first like now. Sorry. No, first on Docs, boy. Yeah, so we got Beer Man. What's up, Beer Man? How you doing? Koner, Big A, Eccles. What's up? Eccles says, let's go. Energy on tour, man. Appreciate you, Energy. Hope you're doing well. Stan Bucasas, ¿Qué pasa? Amigo. Look, Big A shouting out Cosmo. John N. Woohoo. And then we got 3GP Garage. I feel like that's I don't know who that is. I don't like. Look, if you've been here before, my bad. But welcome, 3GP Garage, Truck and Hank. What's up, fam? And Planet Vampire. So just giving some shout outs there to the community. People commenting there. Oh, hey, I always forget this. Listen, guys, please, if you appreciate what we're doing here and you haven't by chance liked this stream right here or subscribe to all of our channels, or even hit the all notifications buttons, would definitely appreciate that. It's a free way to support the channels. Look, you can always send super Snapchats. You can send Snapchats. Don't send me any Snapchats. Actually, I don't trust.
Why not?
But look, you can send Randy some super chats if you want during the stream. I know that he'd appreciate that. Look, I still got to hit that 1,000 mark, man, and I'm going to be pushing it. I started this new podcast, right, of digital collectible talk with Doc. But life the last 2 weeks, man, it's been wild. But I'm trying to be more consistent, and the plan is for sure next Tuesday. But anyways, with that, guys, I want to dive into the announcement that just happened today, where we got the full breakdown of the Evolvables first drop, which is Punisher. And let's see, we're going to go with Cosmo as a special guest first. Cosmo, I don't know if you've read this or seen the announcement, and if not, we'll go to Randy. But in the meantime, I'm going to be pulling this up here so we can share this as you talk about it.
The only thing that I had seen is just a little bit of the breakdown of the numbers. I don't have the numbers like dialed down off the top of my head, but basically it seemed like there's going to be plenty of comments to be able to go for, but then as you start evolving to the next rarity after the next rarity, there's really only going to be, what was it, like a couple hundred or less of the secret rares that you're going to be able to evolve all the way to. So I don't know how that's going to work. It's first come, first serve. I know that, but it's going to be a chase just to try to reach to the end and make sure you can evolve all the way down to the secret rare. I'm excited about it personally. I think this is a really, really cool drop mechanism to add to the bag.
Agreed.
What about you, Ray?
There's 282 of the secret rare, so everyone's going to be rushing for that. There are going to be a bit. I'll just tell you what I told Veve. I said, first off, they look incredible. Shout out to the team because maybe because they don't have teeth, or maybe because their game has been stepped up, but it looks just, oh my God, those eyes look menacing. Like, he looks like he wants to put holes in you. He looks like he wants to go and on like a rampage, or he's finished with the rampage and he's letting you know that he's not done yet. That's just the beginning. Love Frank Castle. One of my favorite characters. The things that I like, I want to start off with that. The special edition common, the Chase. I thought that was really cool. I thought, Eva, baby. I thought that was. We love her. The Chase is. It's not crazy different. He just has some like gray boots and some gray gun straps, like hip, gun holsters, and that's fine. But the fact that there's so few of them, I think there's going to be 3%. So what is there, like 6,500? So there's going to be like 200 of the common chases. So that'll help people. That'll help that sell out a little bit. It won't sell out, but it'll help it mint more than it would have otherwise. The other thing, I like the mint size of the secret rare. It's rare enough that everyone will get that. It's going to be, I think, $54 to get up there. And the size of the ultra rare is not bad either.
When you say everyone's going to get that, like everyone's going to be going for it?
Yeah, like everyone's going to be going for it, and it'll mint out. Like that'll everyone will craft to the point where that is minted out, and there won't be any left. I think something similar might happen with the ultra rare, because after 282 of them are burned for the secret rare, plus the 40 that are held back, that leaves the ultra rare with 678. So 44 gems. And again, if you can't get that secret rare, because there are going to be more people that want that than there is available. So if you can't get that, they're likely going to get the ultra rare, but okay, that's the next best thing. 44 gems. I'm not sure if that sells out or not, but even if only 400 of those are crafted, and then the secret rare sells out, which of course it will, that's 30,000 for Veve right there, just between the ultra rare and the secret rare. The mint sizes for the rest of the way, I think, are way too big as you're pulling them up there. I don't really see that much to match, especially for the uncommon and the rare. the common at least has that special chase variant going for it, but they don't have that chase variant for the rest of the them. And I think they kind of dropped the ball on that. I was led to believe that before this was happening, they weren't able to do that because of, I think, like sweepstakes laws or whatever. That you could, I think they were supposed to do that with like the Marvel metallic reds, like the Doc Ock. They were supposed to have a whole bunch of Doc Ocks, but then like 10 or 20 of them be the metallic red, and they'd change it for whatever reason. But this is it. All in all, I think it's a great job. I just wish, again, the common, the uncommon, and the rare would have had a little less mints, or they should have had the special chases for the uncommon and the rare as well. So that's kind of my thoughts on it.
Gotcha. So shout out to Big A. He just sent this to me. This is interesting. I did not read this. I'm gonna have to. We're gonna look at this first. This graphic, because Big A is saying that it's a multi-day crafting event. Is that true? I thought it was all the same day. So we'll have to look at that. But so right here drops November 30th. You got 7,000 editions. However, Veve is keeping some back right here. So you got the common up top here. So look, you 20 gems, right? And there's 6860 editions of the common.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they're on different dates.
They are on different dates. That's crazy.
Yeah, one day after another.
Huh. Because that's going to be interesting. Well, wow. Okay, so let's go through this. I did not realize that. So look, the common, and can I say, just first off, I saw a lot of people very upset about the number of MCP points that it's going to cost to do this. And, you know, they're basically like, after a few drops like this, there's only going to be the whales that will be able to afford anything. And this is, Veve is just testing this out, right? Like, this is not set in stone that this is how it's going to be every time. That being said, this is the first one, and this is FA Punisher, and these freaking look awesome. And so right now they're doing this drop where a lot of people who've been around long enough are going to be able to go for it if they want, but it is going to cost a lot of MCP points. But that being said, I mean, I've seen some people bidding like 70, 80,000 just to be guaranteed like a blind box drop, right, on something before. So like, this is guaranteed stuff if you can mint it. But anyways, let's go through it.
Also, what's the alternative? Like, MCP points are hyperinflationary right now. You need a way to get them down. I wish they weren't hyperinflationary. And the alternative is, okay, they remain hyperinflationary and they mean nothing, and bronze tickets mean nothing, and OMI doesn't get that good. Like right now, you'll be able to use your OMI for bronze tickets. You'll be able to use those bronze tickets for MCP points, etc. You want ways for people to incentivize them to use OMI, and this is one of the ways that they're going to be able to do that. I see a lot of people complaining like, oh, the team doesn't care about OMI. This is one of the ways that we can get another use case for OMI. And then, you know, you see the complaining. So I understand where people are coming from, you know, the haves and have-nots. But I feel like you can't have it both ways. That's just kind of my playing devil's advocate there.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. This is very, like, Big A, thank you so much, man. Like, this is very good information. So the common is the only thing that's dropping on November 30th, right? And you do have that chaser, like Randy said, there with and the chaser. There's only 140 editions, and Veve is keeping 12 of them, so 128 of the chase of the common there. So I believe the common is going to sell out on this. I do at
the common
$20. Yeah, the common. I think that the common will
just
sell
because
out.
they want to go for the chaser.
Yeah, they're going to go for the chaser, and then there's going to be a lot of people that, well, so we're going to talk about this because so that people know, right, is my understanding is that to burn to get the uncommon, you can either buy it from the drop or from the marketplace, right?
No way this sells out.
Okay. Yeah,
I mean, there's $135,000 just for the, I understand the chase, but you have that with a bunch of the Marvel Mighties, and it's $15 a drop for them, and they're still they don't do it for that.
Okay, but like maybe
I will be happy to
we'll
be
see.
wrong.
We'll see, right? Maybe
I will
a
be
month,
so happy to be
right? But
wrong.
like, so 20 gems because you're gonna like people are gonna go for the chaser. This is still FA Punisher, right?
Good,
Like,
good point.
and maybe it doesn't sell out immediately, but like I think eventually this thing sells out. But regardless, yeah. So if you don't want to go for it on the drop, you don't want to risk it in the chaser. Yeah, there's a possibility that people are just going to wait for the marketplace. But a lot of people who are buying it are probably hoping either to get the chaser or to burn for the uncommon and not going to sell it on the marketplace.
I'll probably get 2.
Okay. So like it'll be interesting. It'll be like I'm really excited to see how this all pans out. But uncommon is December 1st. So you got November 30th for the common, December 1st for the uncommon, right? And it's going to be like first come, first serve, you know. So if it doesn't mint all the way out, and if it doesn't mint 4,500, then you're going to be safe on the uncommon. But it's going to cost you to burn your common. So you've got to burn your common and pay 500 MCP to then get the uncommon, right? And then the rare is going to be dropping on December 2nd. And there's only 2,500 of those, right? And so you're going to have to pay for this one. You're going to have to pay 7 gems. Oh, sorry, back up. To burn the common and get the uncommon, you're also going to have to pay 7 gems plus that 500. Then you're going to have to do another 1,000 MCP points and another 7 gems. So it breaks it down great there, right? Basically, if you bought from the store all the way to the rare, you're paying $33.98 in gems, and then you're also burning 1,500 MCP points. And then the ultra rare is going to be on December 3rd. So it's one day right after the other, basically, is how this is going. And all of them are dropping at 8 a.m. Pacific time each day, right? So then with that ultra rare, it's going to cost you 9 or basically 10 gems. So a total of $43.97 plus 5,000 MCP points. So a total of 6,500. Wait,
yeah,
what?
Ben Rose.
Ben
Rose, isn't it?
Yeah, Ben's down
Wait, what are you talking about?
there. I said hi, Ben.
Ben Rose is in the chat.
Oh, Ben is in the chat. Oh, well, there we go.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Hey, yeah, thank you. Because I just heard Randy say, hey, Ben. And I'm like, what? Am I showing someone's comment? Okay. So the last one here, the secret rare, which is on December 4th. Yeah, that's at 300. And so Ben, you're in the chat. Like one of the comments is, and I don't know if you can make the comment here, but like, why isn't that waitlisted as opposed to first come first serve on these crafting events, right? Because one of the reasons that we got the wait list is so that people who have slower internet connections aren't disadvantaged, and they had been for a couple years, right? And we got that wait list. And now listen, it's not as exciting, to be honest. I mean, like the adrenaline rush of trying to push and craft, like that. Those were kind of crazy days. But I feel like I'm in an area where I have a faster internet connection, and that's not maybe as fair to someone who lives far away from that. But I would love to know like what the thought process was behind that, not just on this drop, but on some of these other crafting events. Why? And maybe there's like a technical load that's like a little difficult, or the coding, like I don't know, but it'd be interesting to know. But back to that, listen, to get the secret rare, you've got to burn 20,000 MCP points for a total of 26,500 MCP points burned all the way to the secret rare. But the other thing that I think, and one of the reasons I think, Randy, that this will eventually sell out is there are going to be people who want the ultra rare, right? They're going to chase the secret rare, but they'll want the ultra rare, or they'll want that. And so like, they're going to have to buy the commons to get that.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and then they're going to have to burn that. And so then all of a sudden the commons are a lot more scarce. So maybe it doesn't sell out immediately, but I think that this sells out before the end of the year. Like,
So, I mean, if both of them get, I mean, you would need, what was it? 1,000 plus 300. So, I mean, that's 1,300 that goes away if you want, or maybe 1,200 ish, if you want both the ultra rare and the secret rare, which again, that's fine. Because you need to get 2, because you have one for the secret rare, one for the ultra rare. But That's still only about 1,200-ish out of the 6,800. So I know people are going to want to complete the sets, and people will want to go and do the chase for the for that chaser. And I think it might sell out eventually anyway, because again, Ben is heavily incentivized to want to grow the company. So if you grow it, you grow it. I mean, this is really cool. It's the first time something like this will happen. I think history will be very kind to this drop, because and maybe that's their thing. Maybe Ben's kind of thinking towards the future and saying, like, I know it's not going to sell out now, but eventually, when we have 50,000 monthly active users instead of 12,000 monthly active users, then this might do that. Then it might. So it's better the money trickle in as opposed to not going at all. I know there's a couple people that want to say, like, after 7 days, just burn it. I was never really a fan of that, because then you lock yourself away from any other future profits as the company grows and they get more users in. Because I mean, it's from the store. Like, sure, they could just pick up something from the secondary market, but if Veve only makes 2.5% from that, they'd rather make, I would say, however much percent from the store is a lot higher. So yeah, maybe you're right. One day, I don't know when though.
Yeah, look, I love this. There's a lot of opinions here, but yeah. So first of all, 3GP Garage, he says, I've been around for years, just a fly on the wall the last few years. Well, glad to have you kind of speak out, man. Appreciate the support, and keep showing up and be in Twitter Spaces. There's a lot. This community is phenomenal. So maybe you're just a YouTube person, you're not in X or whatever, but there's a lot of awesome spaces on X. But happy to have you here. Shout out to Big A for DMing me this graphic on the Evolvables. Bitcoin BMW. It is a multiple day crafting event. So let's see.
You guys might know this better than I, because I can't. Is this the first time we have guns appearing on Veve?
Well, my understanding is it's guns without magazines. So
what?
Guns without magazines. They don't have the mags in them, which I thought was interesting. I feel like it's just like not as scary when it's not a loaded weapon.
Yeah.
But look, I don't know if that's something with Marvel and they've just got to do that, but like I feel like the toys have that, right? Like, and that was the same thing with Death, where she didn't have the syringe. So
yeah.
So anyways, that must be like a Marvel thing. Like, I don't know why though. I don't know why with the digital collectibles, why they decided to do that when the physicals have those. So that would be another interesting thing if we could get some insight into that. But
that'd be great if accessories sold separately. We could buy them in the Veveverse. Like, yeah, put the mags in.
100%.
Yeah, make accessories. But Wes just laughing at like. I mean, like, what are they supposed to do? Like, super complicated. Like, I don't know. They're just doing it each day. I think that makes it less complicated if you're going to do it each day, so people can process how to do that. So, yeah.
And also shout out to them for trying something new. Like, yeah. I'd rather them try and miss than not try at all. And this way, even if 9 or 19 out of 20 things miss, if one's a huge hit, then you have that forever. So I'd rather them do this.
Yeah, no, I like it. West Coast guy. I am not from Boston. Long story. I've told it a couple times here, but yeah, Red Sox fan. We've been terrible for a few years now. But one of these days we'll come back. JKRB says it's a lot of additions. They think it's too much. So let's see. Maybe buy ultra rare on the market and craft SR. That may be the play. It'll be interesting to see, right? Because if people are like, hey, I'm already paying $34 and I burnt, let's see, the ultra rare is going to be, I paid 44 gems and I burnt 6,500 MCP points. Maybe they're just like I'm selling for $80 or more, like it'll be interesting to see like what people price it at. Right. But then the higher the price, then the more people are like, well, now it's worth it to like buy the common to then burn it and like go all the way up there to sell that. So you're going to get some, what's that called? I just blanked out on it, but that it'll come to me, that decision-making game.
Game theory.
What's that?
Game theory.
Game theory. There's going to be some game theory in that, right? Where people are basically looking and being like, if I do this, is this going to happen? But then what are other people going to do? Yeah, it'll be very fascinating. So I'm really excited just to see how all of this plays out. Bill is correct. People will complain about anything. You can never get things right. But I appreciate the feedback, guys. It's going to be a multi-day event. Can't wait to see how things go. We're excited too. Big A is right here. I think that the special edition is the least. That's the lowest amount of mints. Is that special edition chaser, and that's why, Randy, I think it could sell out because people love to gamble, man, and they're like, if there's still chasers out there, and that's the most rare, which is kind of cool, right? Because yes, you can build it out to the secret rare, but just for minting the common, you can still get that chaser, which can be highly sought after. So like, I love the mechanics of this. It'll be interesting. You know, do I love how much MCP points? I like to be determined, but that's why it's awesome to have that extra OMI, right? Staking, and you're getting that every day, which is an incentive to do that. And then also for the collectors that are out there that are buying these pieces and collecting those MCP points, you've got to reward those people somehow, guys. Like, and I know that there's going to be some people who come in and they're just like, oh, like I don't have the MCP points. Okay, well, they're going to pay a little bit more for that. Maybe they just pay for the ultra rare, or maybe they're just going to pay for the secret rare on the secondary market, right? Like, there's a lot of different entry points for this, but you have to reward those people. The MCP points are important. So I love how they built this out, and I can tell that there's a lot of thought that went into this. So, anyways, let's see if we got any. Oh, here we go. Ben is saying, we're trying to strike the balance between delivering awesome experiences, making collectibles accessible. See, look at this. I didn't even read this comment first. Rewarding MCP holders, gamifying the experience for all, and enabling people to influence the profile of their collectibles collection. But this is the first time, so it'll be an opportunity to learn what works, what doesn't, and then keep iterating and improving. So can I just say this, though? Guys, if for whatever reason you don't like something about this or you're frustrated, can you do it in a professional way instead of being like dickheads, right? Can you just like say, hey, I didn't like this, here's why, and maybe provide a solution? Have you thought about doing it this way, right? Just think about that. Just think about that.
Here's a comment I'll add, Doc, to is in regards to the MCP points. One of the things that is nice about this is you know exactly how many MCP points it's going to take to land the secret rare, right? It's going to be that extra 20,000 to be able to get that secret rare. Whereas in the past, you know, I think about the Black Spider-Man drop or the Wolverine drop, and people are just kind of gambling, wondering how much they need to spend to be able to get it. There was people dropping 100,000 MCP points for it. And so when you think about it in terms of what people have spent for drops like that, and now on this, they're guaranteed to get the MC or the secret rare for 26,000-ish MCP points. I mean, there's a lot of MCP points built up, first of all, over the last couple of years, and it's relatively small amount compared to what people have had to pay if they wanted to land a couple of those previous hype drops. Just saying.
Yeah, it was like $1 million for Banksy, right?
Yeah, you had Banksy. Yeah, both Banksy's the 250K for the other one. So yeah.
And that's what I think people need to keep in mind, because look, like the whales, first and foremost, those whales probably bought some of your collectibles that you landed on the drop and then sold for multiples, right? So like, you can't be too mad at the whales and say that they get everything, because they don't hit all the drops, but they definitely, whales are very important in any sort of ecosystem there, right? There's got to be someone who's willing to pay the millions of dollars for, you know, 9.8 graded comic, right? Like, and so keeping them happy and engaged, I think, is very smart of Veve to do. Now, look, I want to highlight this comment that Omar says. He says, all remaining uncrafted will be burned. And so I'm going to read this part because I'd love some clarification if Ben is still in the chat here, but it says, to be eligible to craft the Punisher Skull Reaper digital collectible, right? Oh, wait, no, hold on. So this is what's interesting, because I don't see this verbiage. So anything that's not purchased on the store. So hold on. Let me jump back here. It says, I'm just looking at the comments first to see if this has the same verbiage here, which I don't see that it does. But for the uncommon, which is a craft, right? It says, okay, crafting will close the 1st of December all remaining uncrafted editions will be burned after this date. So like there's going to be like, unless all of them are crafted in that day, there's going to be less uncommons. And this is the same for the uncommon, the rare, the ultra rare, and the secret rare. Now I think that the secret rare will get all the way into that. But anyways, that's another mechanism. But I'm not seeing that, Omar, on the common. So it looks like the common doesn't have that timeline there, unless I'm missing something.
Yeah,
so,
I see it for the uncommon and the rare, but I don't see it for the common either.
But it is there for the ultra rare and for the secret rare as well. So everything but the common, anything uncrafted will be burned by 12 a.m. Pacific time. So fascinating. What's up, vegan things? Yeah. Oh yeah. Womp Mamas. How do you pronounce that? Womp Mamas. Womp Mamas. I don't know. Listen, I got a funny story just real quick on pronunciation. Randy Cosmo, you guys got to tell me if you've done this. But like, I don't know if you've never like read, you've heard word before, but then you've never read it. There's this whole thing where I used to pronounce aspartame aspartame.
Awesome.
Don't ask me why. I think it's because of Spanish. Sometimes like my mind will go there where you pronounce like the vowels, like each vowel, right? Like, and so like I was reading something. I was like, oh, this has aspartame, and my friend's wife was like, you mean aspartame? And I was like, no, I mean aspartame. And then I was like, it is aspartame. So what mamas, you're gonna have to tell me somehow how to pronounce your name. So, but anyways, Bill says, will the common be rarer than one above it? We shall see. Yeah, like anyways, let's see. I'm just looking at some of these comments here. I'm looking to see if what's up, Chris Ashby. Shout out to him. He's a big supporter of the channel. Veve says Punisher and Captain America are my Marvel top 2 superheroes. I'm definitely getting the whole set. I think that there's a lot of people who are going to want the whole set of this as well. So
there's have you guys seen the Punisher on like Netflix, the Punisher series?
No.
I have not. My brother-in-law has seen it and he loves it. He raves about it. So it's something
so good. You guys read any of his comics?
Yeah, I've read. I mean, it's been a while. It's been a long time, man.
It's so good. Also, shout out to you for being on episode 4 of the what's that called? Where Metaverse Life. Veve dropped like 6 or 7 episodes. Yeah. And Dr. Stuff was on episode 4. I think that was the most watched episode. That was really cool.
Let's go. Yes. Well, Park City, man. Park City is gorgeous. And shout out to Metaverse Life for doing that. It was super fun to meet him. That was the first time I met him in person, and just getting to chat with him about kind of like his background and how he found Veve and all the stuff that he just done. Like, there's so many incredible content creators here. But look, Bill, I talked about these super chats here. So Bill says, should I offer the first bounty $1,000 for 1974 FA Punisher?
Well, there's gonna be a couple of those.
I think that there's one.
There's 3 of them, right?
Yeah,
the common and the uncommon, right? But it'll depend on if they all get crafted, right?
And the rare is 2,500. So you could have 3. Yeah, Bogart, let us know which one, because I know Comics and Crypto, they haven't offered a bounty yet, but he said that they will. Speaking of which, shout out to Sean O'Hara from Comics and Crypto that just got engaged. I think it was a couple days ago. I think that's why he was not in Vegas for Designercon. He was out with his bae, and he proposed with a snitch, like the snitch from Harry Potter. Yeah. There's a ring in it. Oh my God, that's so cool. Goals.
That was super cool. Yeah,
congrats to them. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I mean, look, it'll be interesting, Bill. We're starting to see this a little bit more frequently, right? Where people are starting to offer bounties for like key mint years, right? Or mint dates and stuff. Instead of just being like, listen, I'm just gonna put it out there, and more. I think that gets eyes. I think that brings eyes on the project itself. As people are like, wait a second, like, there's like a standing offer for this mint number. I'll tell you what, man. I tried to get that Fantastic Four number 48, 1966. I bought so many of those freaking comics with no luck there, and then apparently it got burned. Like it didn't mint out, so that's crazy. So let's see. Rob Cook says, "What's up, fellas? Love the mechanics on this drop. Chaser variant, MCP point usage, and a very high quality collectible. And 26K MCP is nothing if you've been collecting what you love." Look, I'm with you, right? Like I know that for some people it's a lot of MCP points, right? But they're not doing every drop like this. I think it would be an issue if it was like, well, every drop, right? So like there's that balance, right? Of like, look, sometimes it's going to favor some people and other times it's going to favor like a different group, right? Like, so I like this. I like that they're trying these things and going out and innovating in this space. So well done, Veve, for that. Like, I love that. But he says, that's true. There might be 3, but maybe common won't be minted or one might get burned. So yeah, maybe he waits and sees, right? Maybe he waits and sees like before he makes a decision on which one he wants.
Somebody burns that. We have to petition to not hang out with that person. It's like people like their steak, like well done. Like we can't be friends,
right? Oh, that's funny.
Wait, what's really good, Viviversity? Watch what?
I think Punisher.
Oh, probably Punisher. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So season 1 of Punisher is actually like season 2 of Daredevil, because season 2 of Daredevil introduces the Punisher, and then it's season 1 of Punisher, which technically season 2. It's so good. Oh my god, I cannot talk well enough about it.
I gotta watch it.
Yeah.
I remember Punisher. Like I always thought he was super cool, right? Like he wasn't one of the guys I followed. I was really into X-Men and Spider-Man second, but really like Wolverine and following all of Wolverine stuff. That's kind of like that was my jam there. So look, we got some. We'll talk about Omi in a little bit here, but Cold T says no way Omi goes below 0002. So this is a once in a lifetime opportunity to catch the bottom. Look, I'm going to say this. I have no idea if this is the bottom, right? Like and this is just with any token whatsoever. You've got to say, is this a price point that I'm comfortable purchasing at? That's it, right? And then it goes below that. Okay, right? Because you made that decision, but you just never know, right? It could go lower than that. But look, am I buying more Omi? And I never said this at the intro, but anything that we're talking about here, it's not financial advice. We're not financial advisors. We're talking about what we are doing, right? And all it is a discussion. You guys got to make the decisions for what's best for you. We don't know your situation. Put on your big girl pants or big boy pants and own any decision you make. I just have to say that because I see so many people complaining about like, oh, you did this or like whatever. And it's just like, you know what? Own it. You ultimately made the decision on whatever that is. And the quicker you can learn that to just own those decisions, whatever happens. Look, sometimes you're going to make a great decision. It's going to be epic. Own that decision, right? Be like, yeah, and learn from like what made that decision right. And then sometimes you're going to get it wrong and own that too. But who knows, Cole? But for me, I'm loving Omi at these prices. Let's see. Big A was saying Veve goes hard. He's got an amazing collection. Yeah, like that. That's awesome. I'd love to. I've interacted with Veve like a little bit, right? Not a ton. There's so many people out there that like I still love to really get to know. It's awesome. Okay. Yeah. So Veve was talking about the Punisher. Ooh, the perfect act for the main role. Oh, look, we're gonna skip around here, kind of on what we're talking about because this is a great segue. Omar says the SR Penny Black jumped to 1,000 gem floor today. So we've seen there's been a lot of things. Some of these drops that just happened at Vegas Decon. One of them was the Nounish drop. And Crypto Cosmo and I were kind of talking about that before. I remember he texted me. Well, Cosmo, why don't you tell him what you texted me and your thoughts on this drop?
Yeah, like when I saw it, I got pumped because I remember this last cycle, Nouns being a big deal NFT project. I mean, they're kind of a unique project in that from the day that they started minting, they only mint one new noun per day for forever. So that's the mechanic for them. So there wasn't a lot of them last cycle, but they had a floor of over 100 ETH. Those glasses, the noggles as they're called on Veve, became iconic. They're a CC0 brand, meaning that they can be used by kind of anybody. And so to see them pop up on Veve, I was like, dude, this brand is iconic. I got pumped. So I was telling you about it, Doc. I was like, I don't think people are going to recognize this brand right off, or at least a majority of them. So I was like, I'm going to go in and scoop up a bunch of these early on, because I think people aren't going to even understand really what the deal is behind the brand and where it came from. So I think it's really cool that they came onto Veve.
And that's not the only thing you scooped recently. There's a scooper on the loose.
True.
Dr. Stuff, you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, I do know. Yeah. Why don't you talk about that, Cosmo?
Yeah. Tell us what was going through your mind. Why that one? Why that rarity?
Yes. So Marvel comic #1. I mean, it's a comic that I'm a fan of, just mainly because I love that it's the first appearance of Marvel Comics on Veve. It's the first comic in general on Veve, and then it's obviously the first comic ever from Marvel. So it's got that double FA to it. So I've been scooping a bunch of the commons. Honestly, Mr. MC1, he was an inspiration for me early on, just seeing how much he collected of those. It was really well known early last cycle that he'd collected 500 of the MC1s, right? So I always said in the back of my mind is that in the bear market, when the prices settle, I want to scoop up more of those. And I had scooped up just over 100 or so of them. And I had seen this massive sell wall of the commons of like 120 of them at the same price. And I've been watching it for, I don't know, like a couple of weeks or so. And I wanted to scoop more. And that's always the difficult thing, is when you want to scoop a bunch of something, you have to be really patient over time so you don't drive the price up on yourself. So it was just a couple of days ago or so that I decided, you know what, I want to do this. I'm going to pull the trigger on it before that person either delists them or someone else takes advantage. And I just scooped up all of them. I just went ham, picked up like 130 of them off the floor. Didn't even raise the price on myself. It was awesome. So pumped to have them. I like the commons. I think it's a great comic just in general to have that original cover artwork. But then honestly, like at some point I'll be selling a bunch of these, and it is a more liquid option when you have those commons. So just being upfront about how I feel about that. Yeah, I love the comic work and love the ability to sell it when needed.
Great snack. Appreciate it.
100 and how many did you buy? 125?
Yeah, I bought like 130-ish or so to add to it. So I think I'm up to 200 something, 230 something.
That's wow, man.
Yeah.
That's I mean, I've been slowly picking them up. Veve does something really good. I have this plan. I'm like, and that's one of them. Cosmo is like to some of these OG comics to just be picking up the commons here and there. But then like there's this new shiny object that Veve drops, and I'm like, squirrel. And I go for that, and I lose sight of like that plan that I had. You know, sometimes they do a pretty good job at keeping me, you know, on what's coming next there. But so props to that. And I'm gonna go back to this nounish drop here. Big A said, like, I wonder why Veve didn't go hard explaining how significant nouns DAO is, or their red noggles. I bought 11 and got an SR. Well, you're lucky. I did some research on it too. I bought like 20. About like 20 off the drop. I just kept buying because I wanted that SR super hard. Didn't get it at all. But what I was stoked on, and I didn't realize initially, is with the noggles. Like I knew that you had to have the you know, like those two different sets to get the two different colors of noggles. But I didn't realize that you could only get it off of the drop. And so I'm like, oh, like I landed on the drop. I landed like four sets on one of the pairs, and then like 2 sets on the other. But like I had 4 of one of the characters and only 2 of the other. So then I went on the secondary market to buy 2 to get like 4 full sets, right? And then it was like, you can only craft 2, and I was like, no, I have 4. And I went back and read, which I didn't do. And I was like, so I mean, whatever. Like, I wasn't too bummed because I like these characters anyways. But then Cosmo and I were talking, and we're like, I don't think that people realize that there's going to be a lot of these noggles that aren't going to be able to be crafted because people did not land both of these items on the drop, so they're not going to be able to craft that. So these are more scarce than people realize. This is when the noggles were at like 25 gems or something. And so people were buying them up there. But I had to purchase the SR off of the market, but I got an extremely low mint at floor, and I was like double-digit mint at floor, and I was very happy with that. So
how many mints was it?
118 or 100 and...
Okay, so a decent amount of them were double digits anyway. But better you got them.
You got, but mine's still low double digits. All right.
Yeah,
100%. Great on your parade.
Come on, man.
Did you see the Nina Paloma one?
What's that?
The Nina Paloma one. It was the Golden Heart, the one that had, like the happy heart.
I did not go for that, and that one blew up.
Yeah, I think that one blew up because Colonel Stats bought 42 of them, and he bought like a lot of the supply. He bought over 10% of the supply, like 15%. There's only
I was wondering. I saw his tweet, right, where he basically said, "Congrats, Nina, welcome," or something. And so I'd love to know, kind of like, does he collect her art, or where did that come from? Because that's not typical, I would say, right? Like for someone.
I think I met her at Decon. She's into places that are not yet gentrified, because you can still, like the street art, you can still go in and like tag certain walls and do whatever. But then as the place becomes gentrified and gets a little classy, I guess, then it becomes like, oh, you can't do that here, and you get arrested for that. So she kind of like lives her life. If this person I met, I could be a completely wrong person. But it seems that like going from kind of, I don't know, it's like going from place to place where you're still able to do that, and I think that's cool. I think that's just following the art, following your heart. Did not good rhyme there. But yeah, that was fun. So, where are we going with Pennywise?
Oh, hey, can I say something real quick too on the nouns thing that I think a lot of people weren't really looking at so much, is with the Noggle specifically. And this is one of the reasons I was scooping a bunch of them off the market, is I was looking at how many were being minted, and there was like 500 of each that were eligible to be minted, right? But since you had to have 2 separate collectibles that you bought off of the store, I was like, you know what? There's going to be so many people that have like one or the other, but don't have both, and so can't mint. And I was like, I guarantee you there's not even going to be close to the amount of the full supply of the Noggles minted. And sure enough, like even today, several days out, there's like 200 left of the blue Noggles and like 190 something left of the red. And maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think there's very many more that are even able to be minted at this point. I think we're pretty close to the full supply as is. So they're a lot scarcer than what the original supply suggested. Yeah.
And the thing I like about it too is I've seen so many videos now with those Noggles. They're fun, man. My Collectibles put it on Jabba the Hutt. It's so bad looking, man. Like just those eyes looking like back and forth. Like, it's fun. They're fun accessories, man. On top of that, like the scarcity and like tied to nouns, but what an awesome drop, and one that people just really didn't catch on to. And so guys, this is something to think about, right? With some of these drops, like do your research on it, because if you do, you can catch things before a lot of other people catch on. And like Cosmo did, right? And he bought up a lot of those Noggles at a really good price, right, compared to where they're at now. So
I'll throw out a plug too, if Ben's still watching, is I love that they brought the Nouns brand to Veve. I would love to see some of these other CC0 brands come to Veve as well. You got like Moonbirds, you got X-Copy Art. There's a slew of them that are out there on Ethereum blockchain or so that could be used. I think that'd be a great way to integrate some of kind of the purists out there, honestly, that love the brands and would scout them out at Veve. So just a plug there.
When
Well,
you go in, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say real quick, like, what about Broadside? Like, connect with Matt Mason. Like, I would love that, right? And like, because you got a lot of people that were in the VV fam who kind of went more Web3 and totally went into Broadside. That would definitely kind of get back. Like, that would definitely be another way to like bridge things with that. They got CCO, and they even did some things like Broadsiders with some of the other CCO projects as well, like with Moonbirds and some of those. So anyways, that would be super cool. What were you going to say, Randy?
Can you craft more than, like if I wanted to read Noggles glasses, can you craft more than one?
Only, so it's like 1 per set that you got off the drop of those 2 characters, right? Like, so you've got like, what's this, Swim Shady? Like, that's my favorite one, that Shark Swim Shady.
Yeah. Okay, so you can't.
The name of it's so awesome.
Okay, so you can't craft them just getting them off the market.
No, nope. You have to, and I think that that's one of the ways that they stopped it, right? Because people were kind of minting out all those crafts. Is they're like, listen, you're just gonna have to land it on the drop, and so we're gonna allow for this many, but like it's got to work out perfectly for all of them to be minted out, and it just makes it more scarce. So I crafted like 4 red Noggles and I think only 2 blue Noggles because. Because I couldn't match that those 4 sets there. But hey, we're talking about these drops and things, and we were talking about community members and offering bounties, and we got Sleep In Comics in the house. Sleep In, like Randy, this was one of your topics, and I want you to talk about it. Is Sleep In Comics' favorite comics, his fave comics, right? Let's talk about like what Sleep In does here and why people. Like there's so much value add from community members, and I think that they don't realize that. So you want to kind of let's do a little flower session for Sleeping Comics here.
Yeah, I think so. One of my specialties is determining whether a company is undervalued or not, but that doesn't stop at companies. I feel like I can, and I don't want to put like a worth on somebody, but based on how much attention or how much flowers like people get, be like, this person should be getting a lot more attention than they do. Sleeping Comics he's probably forgotten more about comics than I'll ever know. And he's been in it for decades. I don't want to give away his age there, but he's been in it for longer than I've been alive. And that type of knowledge I don't want to say it's invaluable. You probably put that on there, but recently, the other day, he tweeted about Marvel's new Disney shows coming in 2025 on Disney Plus, and saying like, "Hey, here's the shows that are coming, and here's the ones that we have on Veve. We have Daredevil #1, first appearance Daredevil, Daredevil number 131, first appearance Bullseye." I just followed the tweet talking about Spider-Man ones, Fantastic Four, first appearance of Watcher, and there's that first appearance of Black Panther, Shuri, when Shuri becomes Black Panther. Spoilers. Cameo for Marvel Zombies. So all of these different things, and I know there's at least 2 people that follow Sleepin' on Stacker, and whatever he buys, they buy, and that's their strategy. They're like, I don't know it, but he does, and that's basically like, you don't have to have 30-40 years of comic book knowledge in order to make the same purchases as he does. He's pretty much Yoda in the comic book version, and anything I know about Pokemon, he'll know about comics. And that's, again, that information is invaluable. Obviously, Sleeping, same thing, not financial advisor, but he does it all for free. I'd pay him. I don't know how much it's worth, but if you're getting, again, not investment advice, but if you're getting like, hey, these are the ones that I like, and these are the ones that I'm buying, and it's not just like he has like the knowledge of them, it's of the characters and what happens in the stories. But like he's made 5-figure purchases, 4 and 5-figure purchases. So like you don't do that unless 1, you're successful enough to make those purchases, 2, you know what the heck you're doing, and 3, like you don't do that unless you have like a genuine passion for it. Maybe some do if they're like crazy rich and they just want the best of the best, and, whatever. But those people are going to go to someone like Sleepin' to say like, hey, what things should I buy? Why should I buy them? And why should I care? So yeah, shout out to him for that.
You're talking about watching what people are doing. It made me think of Mr. MC1. And when I bought, I just happened to land that Avengers versus Aliens Secret Rare. And like within 5 minutes, he texted me. He's like, hey, congrats on that Secret Rare. I was like, what? It's like watching that drop. So I would not be surprised if Sanjay was one of those people who watch what Sleeping is doing. But no, I say that kind of a jest, but and Sleeping says, then they know I just bought a ton of ASM 654. I don't know what that is. Is that even?
I will tell you because I have his tweet. Oh, maybe I don't. Maybe I'm tripping. There's Wolverine. There's this. There's that. That is. Oh, I actually don't know. I have no idea. No idea which one that is.
Yeah, maybe he's joking with us. But okay, so we're gonna let's dive into the next topic here, which is well, so tell us a little bit about Randy. You were there in person for Vegas DCon, right? Like I've been to San Diego. I went to San Diego Comic-Con. I went to DCon before, and I finally got to go to New York Comic-Con recently. But they just had DCon in Vegas this year, and man, like I got FOMO again just with all of the pictures and all the karaoke. Like so, looked like a blast. But you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I have to say that. I don't know how to turn this into an allegory or anything, but DCon is normally in Anaheim, and there's stuff to do. There's stuff to do wherever you go, but it's more focused in DCon. And New York Comic Con thing, like New York and San Diego are like the 1 and 2 biggest cons each year for America, and there's very much a lot of incentive to go to those just because they're amazing, they're incredible that people are able to put this on. And then again, going to Veve booth, going to get your stuff. This one is a bit different because it's Vegas and cons are great. You get Mumba was there. Ron English was like a ghost. You could not find him anywhere. Gary Baseman was there, and then a couple of other people that we had in the drops for DCon. Jason Naylor was not there. She was, but he wasn't. Shout out to him for selling out his drop, by the way. It started on Thursday night. I think it was me, Ernie, Tammy, Dogboy, Rita, and I think that was us on Thursday night. And then Agent Venom, that's what it was, copy. Then on Friday, the big surprise that I had held for everyone, where Taps was coming. And I feel like if I would have told people, more people would have came, because he hasn't made an appearance. I finally put those rumors to rest. Everyone was all like, yeah, Randy, the last time he was on your channel, it was in a tub stream, and then he disappeared. Like, is he in your basement? So clearly I wasn't keeping him in my basement. He's very happy by himself, doing other, not by himself. He's married and he's got a doggo and stuff. But yeah, there's a couple whales that were there. On Friday, it was, again, the con. Maybe you could have, I think there's a pre-con night that day, doing whatever. We did not go to that. We wound up going to Packaging Dude's house on Friday and doing karaoke. I think Sparky came there. It was nuts. It was wild. Heather from Kroger came down with the Fam Bam. They drove up from Arizona. And then on Saturday, that was the night of the party. Karaoke was everywhere. We didn't get to bed on Saturday until like 4-ish, 5. Me and Taps always roomies for life. And it's just a lot of debauchery, a lot of there's a pool. Crypto Rain came down with his wife Rachel, so that was great. And then it's just wild time. Sushi, food. I wish I could explain it better than that, but some of the stories probably should not be told here. Maybe off camera. Yeah. It was probably one of my favorite cons, if not my favorite cons. It was just a good group of people, awesome peeps. I honestly believe, I feel like I've gone over this before. If everyone were to be able to do that, I feel like we'd at least temporarily have world peace. I feel like the world would be a better place if everyone could just like be a part of that Veve fam while we do like Veve fam stuff. Hey girl. Yeah.
That's awesome. Look, I highly suggest anyone, if you guys can ever make like an in real life Veve event, like it is phenomenal. Just the energy and getting to meet people and just such high quality people, man. Like you just go there and everyone's so warm and welcoming and it's just a blast. It's just nonstop fun. So I highly recommend it. I was definitely jealous when I saw Taps there. And like, here's a little bit of a backstory. I don't think that most people know this, but like when Taps's channel like was kind of getting off the ground, I don't know. I think he maybe had like 2,500 subs or something, or 3,000 subs at the time, but just loved his content. And I was like, hey man, we got to get you on the Crypto Rain's channel. Let's get you on there and get some more exposure there. Rain, like with all of his crypto stuff, his channel was hopping at the time too. And so it was so cool, right? To like just get to know Taps. And so like that's how I got to know Taps really. Like I just watched his channel, loved it. And I was like, let's get you on to Rain's channel and get more exposure there and talk. And then I think it was soon after that Taps did that interview with Tom Bilyeu, which was amazing to see. But yeah, like loves him, like love his content. Like he's just an extremely intelligent person and breaks things down very, very well. And it was exciting to see him, right? And really grateful that you let him out of your basement, Randy, for the few days. That was
well.
very
I had to brainwash him enough to get him to buy more Omi. Which, by the way, he's never sold. He's buying more. He might have bought more already. And then he's buying 2 other things. Once he buys it, I'll let you guys know what it is. But yeah, it is Omi homie for life.
All right, well, let's jump into this next topic. Veve versus NDAs. Are they lifted? What's going on here? Because we've seen some things, and look, I have to apologize to Falcon, Mr. Falcon. I saw Mr. Falcon's video when Ed Feely like retweeted it, or he posted it, and I didn't see the fine print right where it actually said that it was done by Mr. Falcon. So I thought it was Ed, who had done that, and I was like, oh, Ed, this is epic, and then he was like, actually, if you can read. Which apparently I can, right? I can't pronounce words. I can't read it. But yeah, where it said Mr. Falcon. And so I have to give him mad props. But like his little Halloween video is awesome. If you guys haven't seen it, it's so cool. And my favorite thing is he set it up with these bases, and the Myrmicorno heads look like they're just like mounted on the wall. It's like someone likes to hunt Myrmicornos. Okay. I will not let my daughter see that. She would cry. But yeah, it was super awesome. So yeah, look, I don't know much about it. I just know that we did see more of the Veveverse videos there. So what do you know, Randy or Cosmo? Do you guys know anything more about that?
Cosmo, yeah.
I mean, I've been part of the beta. I was part of the second wave that got into the Veveverse. So I've been in there kind of plugging around and having some fun with it. I have nowhere near the skill level, the patience, and just the dedication that some of these people have done to build out some things. I've kind of built my own little showrooms and things, but won't get into it too much. But it's awesome just to be able to see it open up this world for the builders, the content creators that really want to go ham on it. I think it's going to be a really fun thing for the whole community as it opens wide up. So
it's not lifted then, because I'm seeing Energy say, can't wait to finally get rid of the NDA. So if the NDA is not lifted, was it just like special dispensation from the Veve, hierarchy to say, hey, you can show some videos for some people, or how does that work? I don't know if Energy, you can tell us more.
I don't know. I thought based on that video, I was like, oh, are we good to go? I haven't said anything yet, thank God, but I thought it was.
But so Cosmo, you've gotten no communication.
Yeah, I have not looked at the latest message for sure, so I'm gonna just keep my lips sealed just in case. But I'm going with what they've already showed, and they've showed us that they're opening up the world to, you got Marvel Comics that they've talked about, so that's gonna be fun. It's not gonna be readable yet, as Ben mentioned in a recent video as well on day one. But the fact that they're gonna be able to be there, that you can show off your comics, will be awesome. And the fact that they're going to be able to have the brand there just in general is good, because there was questions on, well, is it only going to be like the independent artists that are going to allow it? And so to see major brands accept that and for them to talk about it, that's a great sign.
Yeah, I don't think that people realize what a heavy lift that is to get all of these IPs to sign off to have their IP next to other IP, right? Their competitor IP. Like it's a thing, right? And so I'm sure that there was a lot of discussions that went on just to get that. Like that's it's a big deal. So shout out to Veve and the team for getting that structured and all settled so that we can see all of this IP or get all, like, I guess a lot of the IP. I don't know everything, but to get that out there, I think that's going to be a big thing. So yeah, I'm still waiting to see if Energy says anything more, but it sounds like that NDA is still there.
I'll say this because they already showed it. The search button got a lot better. The search button used to be akin to how it was on Veve. It used to be trash, and that is pretty well done now. Yeah, IP mixes are insane. And then it just looks better. It just looks cool. And again, that patience that Cosmo was talking about, not everyone's going to have that patience. Not everyone's going to have the time to do it, even if they have the know-how. So if somebody wants their stuff decorated, like my exhibit in 2003, because pimp my showroom, and they'll pay people to do that. But outside of that, again, if the NDAs aren't yet lifted, are me and Cosmo, Hillary and Haley Duff in 2006, because our lips are sealed. It's a great song.
Yeah.
So,
you see Energy's follow-up comment. There you go.
Oh,
yeah,
all right.
The NDAs are still active until just before the day one release, which we know is Q1. We don't know exactly when, right? But Q1, day one release for all. There will be published until then piece by piece excerpts from some, but this one selects Veve from. So Veve's selecting. They're choosing certain excerpts that are going to be allowed to be showed before the NDAs are finally lifted there, but. Look, so DeBull kind of is echoing my comments earlier. He says, I don't think the average Joe realizes how difficult that is with individual corporate identities to be able to get your IP mixed with other IPs, like in the same multiverse or, Veveverse or whatever you like, and it's not just Veve, like it's anything where you're mixing IPs like that. There's a lot of people, right? And they've got pride in their IP, and a lot of times they're like, it doesn't happen all the time. I'll say that much. But so I don't know how to pronounce that. Le Châtelain? Yeah, I butchered that. I speak Spanish, not English. I mean, well, I don't speak English very well either, but French. So, but he says, is it a thing to hold your own NFTs? Is it coming? So no, we are not able to transfer. We're still in walled garden, right? I think that's the question. We can't transfer our NFTs to like our MetaMask or a decentralized wallet there. So is it coming? They've talked about that in the past, that's the plan, but it's going to have to be, each IP is going to make a decision as to whether or not they want that. And there's a lot of things with that, right? Because I'm just going to paint this picture for you a little bit to hopefully provide a little bit more background on why it can be so difficult. Is there's concern. So we just talked about how it's difficult to get like IPs mixed with other IPs. Right now, Marvel knows the other IPs that are out there that are on Veve and what can be listed next to each other and stuff. But you get onto OpenSea, if you're able to list some of these things on OpenSea, right? There's a lot of garbage on OpenSea. And maybe Disney's listen, I don't want our IP next to some crazy, rated R content, NFTs, on OpenSea's marketplace or something. So there's that, right? Then there's the royalty thing, which I think that Cryptoys has shown how that can be done, that you can list on Rarible there, right? And so there is that mechanism, and I think they're still figuring out. But do I think that long term there is a mechanism in which we will see Disney and Marvel stuff where we own that, we could put that in our wallets? I do think that that's coming. But it will still be limited, right? It'll be yeah, you can move that to your wallet. You're not going to get the functionality of it. Maybe it's just a 2D picture. So none of the animation is going to be there. Or if it's a comic, you're not going to be able to read the comic, but you'll be able to store that there, and you can maybe sell it on certain marketplaces, which we already have now. Stacker, we've had that third-party marketplace, but so that's my answer there. And obviously I'm not part of the team. I have no conversation with this, but that's just my speculation, is that I think that it's coming with some caveats. I'll just put it that way. So Steve-O says, Energy has some of the best Veveverse spaces that you need to see. I mean, dude, I've seen some of Energy's content just in general, absolutely. I cannot wait. Cannot wait. What's up, Mo? Appreciate you. Energy. I've never seen that smiley face before. OpenSea isn't licensed NFTs. Licensing is the difference. There's no comparability. Veve creating this space. Like, I agree, right? Like, they're leading in this space, and so look, you can have a company like Nike that creates their own stuff, and they have some Web3 stuff, right? But like, it's very limited in what they're doing, and they really own that, right? And so like, yeah, Veve's just different. It's just a different.
Veve's built different.
Product. It's a different product, really, So just keep that in mind. So he says, I agree, Dr. Stuff. If Pepsi is next to Coca-Cola on shelves, heads will roll. Okay, guys, I don't know. You got to look this up. There is the most epic. Most of you are too young for this, but in the 90s, Coca-Cola and Pepsi were like going crazy at each other, right? Like taking shots at each other in commercials and things. And basically, Coke put out this announcement that they were like, we sold. I think they said they sold 4 times as much, Coke as Pepsi or something like that, right? And Pepsi put out this video, this commercial, and it's this little kid, kind of like this gas station, and basically like it shows him, he puts money into the vending machine, and he buys this Coke, right? He comes down, and then he puts money in, and he buys another Coke, and then you see him put the two Coke cans down, and he steps on top of them, right, and puts the money in so that he can reach the Pepsi one, which is higher than he could reach originally, to buy the Pepsi, and then just takes the Pepsi and leaves the 2 Coke cans there. And I was like, oh my gosh, it was so epic, just that dig at each other. So look, like these wars are real, right? Like it's real money on the line. And so that's where they get real protective of their IP and saying, are we going to allow our IP next to competitors? And what does this mean? How does this impact us? And when attorneys get involved, everything takes a long time. So anyways, yeah. Steve-O says, and what up, Steve-O? It's good to see you, man. It was great to meet you in person. You are not small. Yeah, like he was towering over everyone. He says, I'm interested in what innovation it takes to get the traditional NFT collectors to finally turn their heads to Veve. Can I say something? This is very interesting, guys. There were a lot of NFT OGs, Web3 NFT OGs that bought Bored Apes, that bought punks and things that know about Veve and have bought stuff on Veve. But some of them are all about profit. Like a lot of those whales and things, it's all about the profit. And so when back in the early days, when it was like, didn't matter what you landed on the drop, you basically were able to flip it for more than you paid for it. Yeah. All of them were in there. So that's the thing is, I think if the NFT narrative comes back, right, where just like NFTs in general are all pumping, I think that, and I do think that Omi the NFT will be a big thing where people can actually buy some of Veve's stuff, like Disney and Marvel using crypto, using Omi. I think that will be a big thing, but they're gonna get there. So when people are buying these Bored Apes, they're not like, I'm collecting this, I love Bored Ape IP. Like, this is going in the vault. Like it's a social flex. It's a Veblen good, right? And that's where a lot of these whales are collecting these NFTs. It's for profit mostly, or a social flex, right? So just keep that in mind. Where Veve is trying to build a business of getting real collectors who want to collect this stuff. Like that's part of it. Getting the whales, the crypto whales, that's also part of it, right? But it's not everything, and it's not how you run. Like you can't grow a business like that nonstop. I truly wonder how much money Bored Ape is actually pulling in from their sales now, right? They've got to continue to innovate. They've got to now build with this IP and build video games or do these other things because they're not making money off the sales. They're making some, right? But nothing like it was originally. So anyways, yeah.
That's where I'll add, Doc, too, is I think like bringing on a brand like Nouns, honestly, that's just like one tiny step that turns some heads and gets maybe a few people involved. But I think if they add some more of that Web3 CC0 branding to Veve, it will continue to bring some people in that are like, you know what, that's interesting. But like you said, I think people ultimately go where their profits are a lot of times, because that's what drove people to NFTs in large part to begin with, is because people were making insane amounts of money off of them.
Yeah. We got Planet Vampire with evolvable drops. Pepsi would see biggest burn since Michael Jackson. I don't know if you guys remember that. It was a Pepsi commercial. Michael Jackson. See, look, I'm dating myself. But he was doing this thing. It was a Pepsi commercial, and there was sparks. Like he was walking down the stage, and there was these sparks. And Michael Jackson's hair actually caught on fire while he was while they were trying to film that Pepsi commercial. So, look, Planet Vampire, you and I must be around the same age. But the Bull says, how about the jet points? I don't know what that means.
The jet points? I don't know. I don't understand.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Were you how old were you when We Didn't Start the Fire came out?
I don't know. Like I remember it. I was young. It
was like in the line he says like the Cola Wars. So like it was that ubiquitous of a thing that I don't know, just made it into like one of the most popular songs like in history.
Oh my gosh. Okay. This is another thing about, so Pepsi did this. So this is what he's talking about. The Bull says, how about the jet points? Oh yeah. So Pepsi had run this commercial because you could get Pepsi points if you collected, if you like the cans or the soda tops, or the 12 packs or something, you got these Pepsi points, and then you could turn in Pepsi points for actual like real life physical goods and rewards and stuff, right? And so on their commercial, it was like 3 million or 5 million points or something like that, and you would get like a Lear jet, right? Which is like millions and millions of dollars, like $20 million Lear jet, right? And someone got enough points, and they were like, "I want my Lear jet," and Pepsi's like, "No," like. And so the whole lawsuit was basically like the intent, and it was like a logical person could come to the conclusion that was meant as like not a real thing to be able to cash in or something. But yeah, like it was wild, man. Someone had saved like, and I can't remember they like bought points off people or how they did it, right, to get this. I think that they like raised money with like a capital firm and was like, listen, this is how much it's going to cost to get this many millions of points. And it's still way cheaper than the Lear jet. So we'll buy it and then we'll just flip it or something crazy. Oh, man, I forgot about that.
Reminds me of the pudding cups. Remember like American Airlines did a thing like if you, for every like pudding cup you ate, you like the top of it is like worth X amount of miles. So this one dude bought like 8,000 pudding cups and invited all the children from his neighborhood over to eat the pudding. And then he sent them it. Now he has like free flights for life.
That's crazy. Yeah, Steve-O was just saying, listen, like, yeah, most of them know about Veve for sure. I want to see them actually get immersed in it, not just doing drive-bys for quick flips. Like, that's the hope, right? And I just think over time, the longer the Veve is here and the more established the digital world becomes, as more and more companies, look, like, we're going to talk about that, actually. Look at this. Hold on.
Oh, where's it going? I feel like we're in Looney Tunes where like the Looney Tunes like get off the screen. The kids are like, dang, where'd they go? Oh, the doodles.
Yeah, right. So I got a few of these cups. Now, Gary O, I'm going to give him some crap because he posted and he's like, hey, he was complaining about this. Like people were charging like $40 for this cup to ship to Canada. And I was like, bro, I got you. Like I'll pick one up for you. And so I did. And then he's like, yeah, okay, like just send me the code. And I was like, the code? I was like, your tweet was just about the cup. So like, so that you guys know, McDonald's has partnered with Doodles, right? And whenever you order a hot drink, it'll come in one of these cups, right? And if you order on the app, on the McDonald's app, if you place an order for a hot drink, and it's one per customer per day, then you have to have like your notifications on like within the McDonald's app and things, but you order that and you pick it up, they will send you a code for some like clothing, digital code for the clothing for the Doodle game avatar. Or app, avatar that you can get with their thing there. So yeah, went and got that, but like regardless, like I was gonna get some anyways, and I just think that these are awesome. But it's only available in the US. So that's very interesting. And I don't know if maybe you can sell the code to people. I have no idea how that is, but interesting.
I love that collab. That is awesome. That is a great sign for the whole space.
Yeah, right. So the longer, like the more that people get, it's the touch points, right? Of like experiencing digital things, and they're like, well, what is this? What is this? With Pokemon, TCG Pocket, right? Like people are getting these cards, they're playing this game, and they own it, and they're going to be able to trade these digital cards, right? Like, so people are getting exposed to like the digital world, and but then the next step is like, okay, like, well, I can trade these things, I can't sell them. Oh wait, there is an app where I can buy things from Marvel and from Disney, and like I can sell them. You can't trade them, but you can sell them. There's all this difference, right? And I mean, look, that has to do with when it doesn't cost any money, then it's very easy to trade. You look at the Disney pins, right, with Disney Pinnacle, and everyone's like, oh, well, how come I can trade, like, I can trade pins and stuff? It's like, because you can't sell them. The minute that you introduce money into it, then you have to do BSA or Bank Secrecy Act, the KYC, know your customer, and the counter of the financing of terrorism, or CFT, right? AML, CFT, anti-money laundering stuff. Like all these regulations kick into play because people can use that to launder money. And so like a lot more scrutiny and regulations kick in, like once you have things being able to be sold. So Pokemon, if it's just tradable, now the ironic thing is, depending on how they structure it, I could still just pay someone and then trade them off, like pay crypto, like outside of it, right? But it's not on the platform. Randy, it looks like you have some stuff to say.
So I don't know what it is about. Do you remember it was like a month or two ago where a lot of people were on TikTok and they're like, yo, if you got chased, there's this free money glitch. It's free money. And they were legit committing bank fraud.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
I don't know what it is about people that just confess to their crimes. But I see that on like Disney Pinnacle, like it's in that you're not supposed to be able to trade it like for money. And everyone's like, yo, I just traded this for this and I made $300. And it's like, so again, Disney has been very cool and chill about not bringing the hammer down, but they could at any time. And I got screenshots. So like, I'm not going to be that guy because I'm not a rat, but like, dude, that people confessing to their crimes is wild. And on Pokemon, it's on their terms of use as well, saying like, oh, hey, we can't, you can't trade these like for money. You're not supposed to, so they're supposed to be just traded for trade. Now, obviously, again, people are going to be, I'll give you crypto, I'll give you like cash out, $20, whatever. But hopefully people are smart enough to not, I'm telling the camera, do not confess to your crimes online. Do not do that where people can record it, screenshot, screen record, whatever. Use Telegram, use that delete. Make sure the message is self-destruct after 1 minute. Welcome to criminal YouTube. Yeah, that's wild. But these companies are going to have it's insane. And that's why we had issues with Veve for a little bit. But also that's where the money is. That's why Veve made a fudge ton last time. And I think why they can again, because a lot of things can be easily manipulated. A lot of things can, like you have certain things that have like 88 mints and they're going to be worth, people will manipulate that. It'll be worth so much money. Certain things that probably shouldn't be worth that much. Again, I feel like I'm going on here.
Here's the thing too, like I'll add something that just excites me about Veve in general. I mean, the brand that they've built, the IPs that they have brought on, and there's just a lot of concern and question marks right now in the community where they're like, why isn't Veve doing this with influencers or doing more heavy marketing and all sorts of things? And it's just kind of crazy to be in this position where Veve has done as well as they have done in the bear market, where they have, and I mean like the NFT bear market, which is still ongoing, and brought in so much revenue. And they have not even truly begun to turn the key on all the things they have at their disposal. And you might ask, well, why haven't they done that? And it's my belief that they will be doing that sometime in the near future in time to catch this bull run for the NFT bull run. And I am super excited because they have so many tools at their disposal. Very excited about what can come from this.
You got people who, because I think Mo talks about this, and let's see if I can find. Mo says people don't believe the NFT narrative will happen again simply because it only happened once. When in reality, the reason why NFTs initially ran is because people that made money in the bull market wanted to flex their wealth with NFTs, right? So it is a Veblen good, and there is that social flex aspect to it. And I guess like my question to people is, just like people buy these physical comics, right, that are super rare, and they're like most people don't even see it, right? But they tell people I own this, or it shows them that they're the ones who spent millions of dollars to buy this, right? And it is that social flex to show their wealth. You don't think that like as digital collectibles become more of a thing where you can show digital ownership and there's scarcity there, that the same thing won't happen? That there won't be people who are like, I want to show that I've got like Miles Morales Spider-Man, and there's only 200 of them, right, in the world. And oh, by the way, I can show that way easier, right, like digitally than I ever could with my physical. So I think because you got Big A says, I really don't think that we get an NFT narrative this run with memes. Like memes are going crazy, right? And that's actually one of our talking points that we were going to talk about a little bit. I want to get into Omi before we get into meme coins. But on the other hand, I think Veve is niche enough that it can do very well without it. I've said a lot of times that there's a lot of different narratives that Veve can hit. It doesn't have to necessarily just be NFTs. It can be NFTs or digital collectibles. It can be the metaverse with the Veveverse, right, or AR, VR, that type of stuff. AI, if they're incorporating some of the AI, like in any way, shape, or form into the Veveverse. Now, I don't know how far along they are on that, and that might be years away where they miss that narrative, right? But there's potential for a lot of different narratives there. And a lot of crypto is speculation, to be honest there. So even if there's a speculation that could happen, things could run there. But at the end of the day, one of the reasons, listen, time is precious, right? And there's a ton of projects that I could be talking about. And yeah, I dedicate a little bit more than like a day of my life each week to talking about like being on the show with Omi as my homie, and then trying to do like a Veve specific drop. And it's for a couple of reasons. Number one is the community. Like I love interacting with the community, and this is one of the ways that I get to do this. I also feel like I have a really unique background that I can provide some insight for people that are trying to navigate this space. There's a lot of BS that gets posted online, especially from people who maybe are disenchanted with Veve. They feel disenfranchised, right? And so they'll post these things and they come off as very intelligent. They write very eloquently, but it's wrong. And so that's where I'm like, it's great to be able to have this platform where I can talk about these things. But at the end of the day, like I am bullish on Omi, and it's not my only holding, right? I talk about diversification all the time. But again, a token, like I've just looked at so many tokens that have rug pulled me, that have scammed. There's so much crap in this space. And look, meme coins is one of these things that like I've given into. I've got to kind of go with the flow a little bit, right? And I'm learning that too. But like at the same time, I think that Veve is going to be here in the long term, like longer than 95% of the projects that are existing today won't exist in 2 years. 95%. Think about that, right? And Veve's in that, right? Like for me, that 5%. And I think that's a big deal. And so long term, I think I'm super bullish on this. I love what they're doing. And the token Omi that is tied to Veve, as long as Veve is successful, Omi will be around. And it has a chance during these bull runs to actually hit a narrative and do really, really well, right? So I continue dollar cost average. So we can talk about that a little bit, right? Because there's quite a few people here. You've got Mo Collections that are like, make Omi great again. Look, I think Dr. Profit definitely has that in mind with Stacker, right? Do we want to dive into, before Omi, Stacker updates? I'm gonna pull this tweet from Stacker, and we can kind of go through that.
So the highlights of it, as far as the roadmap, obviously Omi to NFT for a lot more licenses and brands, fiat onboarding. So being able to buy Omi with your credit card is bananas. The liquidity right now is not there to do that. I don't know how they're going to add liquidity, whether it's going to be from Dr. Profit itself, from the business development wallet. Again, they don't have the exchanges to really have that happen right now, again, for liquidity. But outside of that, you have social logins, token gated features, OMI tipping. Dr. Provident told me for a while, I was like, people are gonna be able to tip you an OMI, Randy. I was like, that sounds great. When? And then if we get a little bit farther into it, there's a roadmap features to be released before public launch. They have the Immutable X to base bridge, coordination with Veve and Akomi. The team is pretty close to finalizing a one-click bridge, allowing users to transfer all of their OMI tokens from Immutable X Layer 2 on the Veve app over to the Stacker wallet. That's why you're not able to put on any OMI onto the Veve app right now, because they don't want you to put it on and then have you just to take it off. So that's one of them. Marketplace launches, you're going to have a collection offer. I've had multiple people say, like, hey, I want to launch a collection. Can you do this? Can you talk to Veve? And I was like, well, first off, no. We're not able to do that. But when they have a giant collection offer, again, locking up OMI tokens to make a binding offer on one collectible comic for a specific collection at a set price without specifying the min, I think that's really big, especially for people that want to offload. There'll be a lot of cross trading there. There'll be a lot of OMI burn with that as well. Again, the fiat onboarding, which we talked about. External wallet support, I don't think is anything that is super sexy, but people are gonna like that. Supports MetaMask, Coinbase Wallet Connect. So it seems like you're gonna be able to connect your Coinbase wallet right to this, unless I'm interpreting that wrong. Then obviously you have social logins, X, Google, Apple, more providers. And there's a bunch of, I'll just read the titles: analytics with the token gated features, Stacker profile and OMI tipping, and the Stacker standalone wallet. Apparently it's going to be the most secure thing ever. And that was it. I would say that's it, but that's some pretty major stuff that we have there.
Yeah. What do you think about these updates, Cosmo?
Honestly, initially I was like, oh man, there's going to be a third party that we're going to have to deal with. And, it was, for me, I was like, oh, I wish we could do all this stuff through Veve. But then as I started to understand the reason why they were building this through a third party for all the regulation, and so that they didn't go under the same scrutiny and the same type of lawsuits that Flow Blockchain had to, with Dapper Labs rather. And so it started to make more sense. I was like, okay, so this is actually something that's very important for it. So I started getting on board, started exploring Stacker, started exploring kind of what they're doing, got in on some of the testing, did some of the early beta trading on there, or selling and buying NFT, OMI to NFT. And honestly, I think it's a critical part of the roadmap that's going to make a huge difference for the long-term success of the project. So it does take a little bit of getting used to. I love that they have a huge vision with Stacker. I think there's even more to be revealed over time that we'll learn, and I just look forward to seeing it unfold.
Yeah, I want to address something here that Crypto Rain recently brought up. So I'm long term on OMI, I'm bullish, and with the mindset that there's a chance that, again, if Veve hits any of these narratives, the token could experience a flood of people very interested in it, right? But in the meantime, building up the actual utility of why people would want to buy and use this token, that's what Stacker and OMI the NFT is all about, right? And I love that. I think it's a way that, as long as Veve exists, OMI will exist long term, right? And I say that, but when NFTs hit this narrative, when NBA Top Shots hit this narrative and things, right? The Flow token went ballistic, but there wasn't a lot that you could do with the Flow token, right? It was just connected to NBA Top Shots. It was the platform. And so, again, if digital collecting gets in the narrative, the OMI token could just pump just because of that, right? And so I just want to provide some perspective there on why I still think OMI is my homie. And I know that people are frustrated as they're just like, look, I feel like a lot of crypto tokens have pumped, right? And OMI's actually gone down in the opposite. And you get all these people who are just like, ha, 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 I told you so. You should have sold out. And we're seeing a lot of people that are just losing, faith in it, or they just want to chase those green candles, right? They're just like, listen, I'm sick of my token going down. And so I'm selling out. And I can't blame, I can't point fingers at those people, right? My mindset's just different. That's the diversification piece for me, where I do have tokens that are doing great, and I'm playing in the meme coin space a little bit, right? And have had some moderate success there. But like for me, it like only is a longer term thing with potential real short term upside. But I don't know when that's going to be. But in the meantime, I love what Stacker and Veve are building here with the utility for this token, right? And so I'm really excited, and shout out to the blockchain team over on Veve that are coordinating with the Stacker team to build all of this functionality out there. I think that's fantastic. And yeah, would love to see it. So yeah.
Can you bring a Big A's comment up saying that there won't be an NFT bull run?
Yeah, hold on just a second.
You can find it. So just for some statistics here, NFT market had a $3.9 billion quarter in Q1. The trading volume reached that. It's a 50% increase compared to Q1 of 2023. And then Ben shared an article last week or a couple days ago saying NFTs weekly surged 94% as crypto market continues bullish run. Ethereum network led the week with 67 million in NFT sales. Well, Bitcoin-based NFTs recorded 60 million in sales over the last 7 days. Again, that's just from the 10th of the 11th to the 17th. Non-fungible tokens saw a weekly sales volume of 181 million, fueled by significant gains in Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency markets. So when you go and you say, like, I don't think we get an NFT narrative this run, I don't know what you're talking about, because the numbers say the complete opposite thing. And that's when we're still very much we're starting our bull. But again, the trajectory in which we're going is a very good one for NFTs. So I'll leave that there.
I'll add to that too, is like, I think one of the things that caused crypto in general to take off wasn't just because people thought it was a cool concept, but because the technology had such critical elements to make things more transparent, more, just more efficient. And so the technology itself lended to such an important use case. And NFTs do something so similar, right? It adds an important use case that brings so much efficiency, reduces fraud in terms of major IP. You can verify exactly what you're buying. You heard of government departments in the US that are like taking the entire mortgage system and attaching them to NFTs. Like, NFTs are here to stay as a technology for the foreseeable future. Bunch of different companies are starting to integrate that technology. And because of that alone, in my mind, I see NFTs sticking around for the long term. And anytime you have the technology that's going to stick around and there's a way that people can make money off of it, they're going to try to leverage it. And so what I see is NFTs, we know that Bitcoin runs first and then the alts run after that. I see NFTs as almost like the alt of the alt. So I tend to see them run last. And I expect that to happen personally. I think it's definitely going to come, and it's going to come strong. It's going to catch a lot of people by surprise, just like the second crypto cycle did when Bitcoin ran for a second time.
Yeah. And look, like this is the great thing, right? No one knows for sure. All we can do is we can look at historically what's happened and say, what are we seeing in trends? I would say that we definitely can't rule out like an NFT, like bull run again, for NFTs. Last time NFTs hit kind of at the tail end, and that fits because in general you see like a run up of Bitcoin or the blue chips, right? And then after that, once that hits like its all-time high and it starts kind of trending down, that's where people take gains and then they start rolling it into altcoins. So we are seeing some altcoins kind of pump, but guys, we have not seen anything yet. Can I just say that? Like, we're seeing new all-time highs in Bitcoin, and that's exciting. I'm telling you, last cycle, it was insane, right? We're seeing some of these gains like with meme coins, right? Where it's like 16,000% and something crazy like that. Well, yeah, that's because people are buying it. But like, that's what happened last cycle too with some of these tokens. Like, there was this project called Retrieve that like in this VC I was in, these they had gotten their tokens and like it had done nothing, and everyone's just like, oh, like this is crazy. We're down bad. We're down like 85% from our pre-sale price, right? And then it pumped like 4,000%, right? And they were just like
760x from the bottom.
Okay, so 760x, which is a 76,000% increase. right?
In a few months, like happened so fast.
That's what's possible. I don't know if it's going to happen, right? But like that's what happened last bull run, and I'm expecting things like that in this space. So do I think that NFTs can definitely be a part of that? And like, look, I mean, there's new technology coming out that can create that narrative. So if like the technology gets better, whether it's a new Vision Pro, like Rick So says, the new Vision Pro will probably be the next narrative. The Veveverse hopefully will have an extension where people need to burn Omi to experience the world like Mr. Falcon created. He's like, I don't own a current Vision Pro, but I've tried it out and it was jaw dropping, especially the immersive videos, which I agree with, guys. I cannot wait for that technology to get there to where like I can watch like football matches like in reality, because like the test that I was able to do with the Apple Vision Pro, it was like I was sitting right behind the goal and Messi took a shot, right, like, and scored, and it felt like I was freaking in the stadium. And I was like, I would legit pay for the digital version of that, right? Like, oh, I'm going to go to a game for $5 where I can sit in the comfort of my own house and watch like I'm freaking behind the goal. Best seat in the house, and then I can eat whatever I want. Oh my gosh, like I was tripping out on that stuff, right? So the technology is going to be catching up, and like I just think the digital is where everything is going. And so again, one of the reasons that I dedicate so much time and I wade through all of the hate comments and stuff like that, like because I'm just like, listen, like I believe very strongly in this, right? And I'm not going to let anyone deter me from that. And but then I'm also saying like it's not for everyone. And I do think that it's funny that people will sit there and shame others for like, oh, like, you know, I can't believe that you believe in this project, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, why don't you tell me about the projects you're interested in? Like, why do you care? Like, I don't know. Anyways, it's wild. But look, yeah, there's been a lot of comments in here, people talking about like, you know, the new president, and we're definitely going to have a very pro crypto president, right? Like he has his own DeFi project. So there's definitely going to be some clarity that's going to come into this space. He's going to require it, right, to make sure that he's protected. But then that we're all protected. Now, someone made this comment about like, oh, like Rick, so basically saying that like say goodbye to pump and dump dodgy meme trash. I don't think so, man. I don't think that that's going away. Like, you know, now there might be regulations as to like doxing yourself with certain things, right, so that there can be accountability there. So maybe like the pump and dump stuff, but like, will there still be meme coins? I still think there'll be meme coins.
Do you guys read about that kid who he made a meme coin?
Oh yeah, Austin and I
20K.
benefited from this. Like
Oh my God, tell me about that.
So basically, I follow this guy. Listen, back in the day, so his name is Value in Time. That's his Twitter handle. And he does a lot of shit posting and things, and it's super funny. Like, but he was one of the early ones that I followed, very early on in the NFT space. He had bought like a Bored Ape. I think he had several actually that he sold. He didn't sell at the right time, but he also like, anyways. But he had posted this like the picture of that kid basically flipping off everyone, and I was like, what is this? What is it? And he's just like, this guy made my yearly salary in like 20 minutes or something like that of $33,000. And I was like, what is this? What's he talking about? Right. So then I started to do this research and found out. So this kid on TikTok basically went on pump.fun and created a meme coin, right, which he called Gen Z Quant or something, right? But then the ticker symbol was Quant. And basically what had happened is he's launching this live on TikTok, right? And people are buying it like this token and things. And then once it hits up to a certain point, he just dumped all of his tokens, right? And basically like rugged everyone, and he like flipped everyone off. He's like, oh, you know, and then just like turned off the live stream. And so then it went viral because they're like, oh, this like 10-year-old kid like wants his meme coin, and then rugged everyone live, right? And some people got pissed, and they found out who he was. They like found out his mom and where she worked, and like doxed him and all these things, right? But then a lot of other people, and this is where Cosmo and I were talking about it, and I was like, well, Cosmo was like, listen, I think that this I think that this is going to take for a while, you know? And like I said, Cosmo's pretty good at calling meme coins. And so then I was like, okay, I gotta think about this. And then I was like, you know, I think at least for the next little while, more and more people are going to get exposed to this. They're going to look at the token, right? And so I got on there on Dex Tools, and I saw the trading volume was just crazy. So like when I first saw it, it was like at an 18 million market cap, and then when Cosmo brought it up again, it was like at a $22 million market cap or something. And we were talking about it a little bit. So then I jumped in at like a $27 million market cap, and like it continued to just run, you know, and it got up to like an $80 million market cap, because I thought to myself, you know, the crypto degens in the space are like, all right, this little mother effer, like, we're going to show you what's up, right? So you sold and made $30,000, but we're going to run this token up. And basically that kid's tokens at that $80 million market cap was worth like $3 million or something crazy, you know? And so, yeah, that was my bet, where I was just like, I just feel like this is going to take hold for a little while, but like, I sold 85% of my tokens before I went to bed, and then I woke up and sold the remainder of them and made a nice little profit. Nothing crazy, but yeah. What are your thoughts on that, Cosmo? Like, I'd love to hear your full thought process, right? Because we just chatted about it, but
yeah, I mean, I saw it, and it had only been released like 2 hours before, and it was pumping hard, and the volume, like you said, was as big as I had ever seen personally. And I was just like, wow. And I had caught Peanut relatively early when it was like 40 million or so, and rode that up to like close to a billion market cap. And I just didn't think it was going to break that billion market cap. So I sold out, doubled my profits or whatnot. And I saw this one. I was like, oh man, this one's got a lot of volume, similar to Peanut, even more so. So I bought in, rode it up, and I held on a little bit longer than I normally do, because I thought it might do a little Peanut. So I ended up taking a little bit of an L on that one. And yeah, but it was interesting one. That was a crazy meme coin that the origins on it was just wild.
So before we shut things down, just one more thing on memes. You made a decent amount on Peanut on Sol, right?
Yeah.
All right. So how do you feel about Peanut on ETH? Because that's at like a $5 million market cap. And I'm not going to lie, I want to get some, because if it does a fraction of what Peanut on Sol did, it would be bananas. And I realize I'm telling people this before I bought any, but I feel like ETH hasn't run yet. ETH is still at these like $3,000 levels. And I think it can get to like $10,000 levels during this, this bull run, if not more. And I don't know. I feel like the ETH counterpart is, I don't know. I feel like the ETH people might just fight back a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I haven't looked into the ETH version of that. And by the way, guys, I'm not an expert on meme coins, so don't even like look at me like I know like all the things you're gonna need to know. I've gotten lucky a few times. I'll just say that. So, anyways, for the ETH one, I haven't looked at. I'm not personally like much into doing like the copycat of the same token on a different chain. I haven't looked into what the success rates are of those, so I'm not really familiar with the ETH one or what it's going to end up doing. Do I think it's going to copy what Peanut on Sol did? I don't think so, but I have no idea.
So one of the problems with ETH, right, is just the gas fees, and that's where people have migrated to Sol or to Base. So you see Big A's comment, and it's pretty true. I hope it's pretty true. Like, memes are typically on Sol first, although we've seen some memes like Brett, right, on Base that do really, really well. But yeah, Sol typically first, then Base, and then maybe AVAX or Sui, because it's so cheap to do that, right? And when you're only, if you can get, 20,000, 30,000 people who are like, I'm willing to throw in $30, $50 to this, it's way easier to do that and to get way more volume on Solana than it is on ETH, right? Because people are like, well, I'm going to pay $30 just in gas fees. Like, so you don't get like all of the like smaller fish just taking little nibbles and throwing in, like when you got 20,000, 50,000, 100,000 people at $20, that adds up, right? Like, so could it happen? Like, probably, because I know that people in the community also like are looking at Peanut on Bitcoin, right, through the Stacks ecosystem, and so, and that's enough on Bitcoin, right? What's that?
I'll add something there too. Like I think there's pros and cons to each of the chains because you're right. Like the ETH gas fees are terrible oftentimes. But one of the things that it does lend to is if a meme coin does catch on the ETH blockchain, people are forced to hold a little longer if they want to get some profits. So there isn't as much exiting as there is on the Solana chain ones where they can exit real fast and get profits and only pay a few cents or so or a few dollars in gas. So there is that aspect to the ETH chain as well.
Yeah. Well, listen, guys, we've gone through a ton of stuff here. We didn't really get to the VV hires. Well, Randy, you want to talk about that real quick, and then we'll kind of do a round robin and talk, kind of have our final thoughts on things.
Sorry. They had like 7 jobs listed for hire for marketing, and like 5 of them are left. So they hired a affiliates lead and something else. And I wish they would have had a head of affiliate marketing before they had the lead, just because you typically want those people in whom the people you're hiring and whom those people will be working for to be involved in that hiring process. So I wish they would have hired from the top down instead of the bottom up. But the fact that they got that done so quickly is pretty nice. And even if it takes the rest of the year to kind of get most of the rest of those jobs, getting that affiliate marketing program kind of created and built in Q1, I think in Q2 we see some pretty heavy marketing. That's kind of my, what's that called? My take on that. So maybe in 6 months from now, you see some good heavy marketing.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, I'm excited. That VV continues to grow and to hire, and I think. Look, I'll kind of go first, and then when you finish it up, and we'll send everyone off. But like, there's a lot of levers, like Cosmo said, that VV can still pull, and one of them is affiliate marketing. But like, they don't even have to pay anything. They basically just say, "Listen, there's going to have to be like a sign up process, right? We got to vet you, but then we vet you, and you get this code, and then if you talk about VV and you onboard people, and they purchase things through the web app." You'll get a kickback on that, right? 2%, 3%, 1%, whatever it is, right? Then these major influencers are highly incentivized to talk and introduce their supporters to VV, right? Like that's such a big deal. I don't think that you guys realize how big of a deal that will be when that really kicks off. Like think about YouTubers with like tens and tens of millions of followers or subscribers, right? That are well connected to massive influencers in the space, large soccer players or football players, NFL players and stuff. Like, man, like, guy, I'm just saying, like that is a massive lever that's going to be pulled, and if it's done during this bull run, like that is absolutely one of the ways that you could get some substantial onboarding into VV, and that's just one of the avenues there. So I'm really excited about that. But look, at the end of the day, I continue to do this Omi is my homie to talk about things as regulations come up or lawsuits happen. I love providing insights into what this means, how that potentially impacts a token, or why Omi hasn't been on exchanges, or at least my thoughts on all those things, right? But at the end of the day, like Omi, like I continue to be very bullish on it. And again, not financial advice. This is just what I think about it, and I continue to buy, as well as get into a lot of other things. I think diversification is so key, but even if you're not in it for any of that, guys, the VV community is phenomenal. So just embed yourself in it. Like it's awesome. There's so many incredible people here. And like that gentleman, the garage, G something garage, like if you've been on fly on the wall for several years, start chatting on X, right? And find a VV space and just get to know the community. We'll welcome you with open arms. So, Cosmo, how about you go next, man?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited about the future with VV. I love the community. I love so many of the things that the company is doing. Like I said before, I think that they have the ability to turn so many levers, and the fact that they've been quiet on a lot of that stuff, to me, and this is just my decision-making process, I see that as an opportunity to scoop some things while things are kind of considered boring or out of the limelight. And as an investor, that's a lot of the plays that I look for, is for value propositions that are there but really aren't being highlighted. I think there's a lot of strengths that OMI has the ability to bring to the table that they have not yet. And so I keep scooping what I can. Again, like it could all go to zero. So I never put money in that I can't afford to lose. And I'm just excited about what's to come.
Great. I think that there's two ways that we can go about this, or at least two ways that OMI can go and Moon, or at least go up a little bit. You have the affiliate marketing, you have Stacker rolling out. Maybe you can get some exchanges. Maybe you can get some new users from that marketing. Again, Ben is heavily incentivized to do that. And then just that narrative hits. So you have all the organic things that Veve could do, and they could try to set it off themselves. And then you just have it doesn't matter, like it hitting. And those are two ways that can take off. They could both happen in the next 6 months. They could both not happen for another 12 months. But if you look at it in terms of probabilities and see which one is likely to happen, are we going to live in a world 12 to 15 months from now where the NFT narrative has hit and Veve is in that perfect position and OMI goes way, way high? Or do we live in that world where OMI is still in the low triple zeros? And there's still a lot of OMI on Bit4x, so you could potentially have in the next couple months OMI go down even further. Like Doc said before, is this at a point where you're comfortable buying? You have to answer that for yourself. But for me, I have no problem stacking. But again, that's me. That's it. Yeah.
Love it. Well, listen, if you haven't already, please smash, push, crush, or gently caress the like, subscribe, and all notification button. Love you guys to support us and help grow our channels. But listen, again, thank you all for your time. I love interacting with the community. Cosmo, thank you so much for coming on, being our special guest. Love when you're on. I love the insights you provide. And Randy, as always, I heart you, Bay. And thanks, everyone. And we will catch you on the flip side.